In the previous sections, we saw the technical aspect of data visualization, like what are the chart types to be selected, what is legends, and how to select the color palettes and designs for your data visualization. In this section, we are going to talk about the creative aspect of the data visualization. One of the biggest challenges for some data visualization designers is to start the work. So we are going to talk about some tips and techniques to get started in designing of data visualization. Now, when you are talking to your customer and you are in a situation where you have got all your requirement, they have explained you what to do, what actually they're trying to visualize, and might have also given you some of the direction, like what they think the final design should look like or what chart type to be selected. And this is the common phrase which almost all the customers use at the end of the discussion, which goes like this: please feel free to innovate and think outside the box. This is something very prominent which I have seen almost with all the customers which I have interacted with, because you are the expert here and they are coming to you for the solution of the requirement which they have. Now, to really start designing the data visualization, it's a bit challenging. Why it's challenging? It's not a very difficult job, but we always set expectation that this visualization will be the best. This will be the one which will be written in the golden letters in the history of the data visualization. And we also spend a lot of time in thinking about requirement from the users, how that requirement can be creatively and innovatively mapped towards any design which you have worked or which you are thinking about. Now here comes the tricky part. Our left brain need to work on details and specific instructions like mathematical calculations, and our right brain is responsible for creativity, generating new ideas, using our past experiences to figuring out things in a creative way. So whenever I talk about left brain and right brain, I always remember the old cartoon Pinky and the Brain. If you are familiar with this cartoon, then you will remember that left brain and right brain are similar to the character of the cartoon. The left brain is logical, orderly, thinks in a linear and rational way, but is actually slow. And the right brain is playful, creative, emotional, imaginatory, and fast. Now we have to use both of these attributes to come up with some interesting and cool design, yet which is fulfilling the requirements of your customer. So that is the most challenging part which I personally feel, to come up with some creative ideas, and I think it takes a lot of time to really come up with some innovative idea which the customers will agree upon or which can be developed by the developer as well. So basically what I do to start the work, the first thing which I do is I put all the necessary inputs for a project which I have got into a whiteboard with all the notes. And also sometimes I will also include timelines, like how many weeks or days I have to complete this phase, And once I do it, it allows me to give a bigger picture of what I have to do, because it's always important to keep the bigger picture in mind. So this gives me also control over the entire projects if I want to, because I can really get a summary of the entire progress of the project by just looking into this big board where I'm updating all those contents and ideas which I have while thinking process goes in. And it's always helps me or any stakeholders to show that I'm working on the projects and there has been some thinking and progress going on. Then I go back to pen and paper with nothing else, just to think in a notebook. I create and redraw stuffs. This is where I have to use a lot of imagination, creativity. What I'm expecting here is new ways and angles from my past experience to current problem. I think about how I would like to see the data visualization if I'm the customer and if I have to do the exact same work which my customer is doing. So I will try to get into the shoes of my customer and think about my requirement. One thing which I have noticed is that I like to use loose sheets of paper instead of a notebook, because you can see multiple sheets at a single point of time, and the final outcome of this process is the design, and the wireframe, which can be then used by the developer to develop the solution.